Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Planning Board meeting of February 12th, 2014. Tonight, we have Mr. Bob Watts, Mr. Christopher Rich, Ms. Matilda Evangelista, myself, I'm Harry Locatilia. We have Howard Snyder as our planner. Wendy Beaumont's taking minutes. Without any further ado,
Mr. Chairman,
meeting is called to order at 7:05. Mr. Rich,
subject to any
don't even think about it. We
edits
didn't get
from
'em.
my colleagues.
We didn't get them. You making a motion to
January 22nd minutes?
move the January?
That's what we just got online?
When?
I'd like to postpone the approval of the minutes for January 22nd, 2014 to the next meeting.
To January 22nd, 2014 minutes,
Correct,
moved to the next meeting.
yes.
I will second that motion.
Seconded by Bob. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. 4-0, unanimous.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Rich.
I move that we accept the vouchers in the amount, if I can find them, such as U.S. Postal vouchers and an H.L. Graham voucher.
Yeah, there were two of them, I believe. Totaling $5,410.
Of which, how much comes out of the budget?
$100.
Just for explanation. That's it, yes.
5,410 total. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Second by Tilly. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 4-0. Do we have something to sign?
Something to say?
To sign.
Oh, I thought,
The vouchers.
I'm sorry. I thought you said say.
I thought you
I'm
said
going,
that
why
too.
Would, why would he ask me if I had something to say? I'm
You do, I
racking
hope.
my brain saying, what am I
Geez,
supposed
Wendy,
to say?
I would hope you would say it.
Something like,
I would hope you
sign this.
Wendy, repeat after me. I want a raise.
Good point. Good point.
Oh, my goodness. I'm saying.
We have 4 correspondences. One's the town of Boxford, telling us about their zoning map amendments. The second one's the town of Newbury, referring to their zoning board of appeals. Neither of those have anything to do with Georgetown. H.L. Graham Associates, we've received the 3rd review report for 25 East Main Street, the athletic fields. And the Georgetown Zoning Board of Appeals gave us a notice of a hearing that, Howard, that will be upcoming for 60 East Main Street?
It's
sounds like donut
upcoming,
plot, right?
and we've got until February 20th to get any comments we have about the proposed application to the zoning board for them to consider at their meeting.
And we have
After it goes
that
through
in
the zoning board, it's gonna be coming to the planning board for site plan approval.
Okay, great. And vouchers are taken care of, correspondence, minutes, vouchers. We're 5 minutes ahead of schedule. Oh yeah, we're gonna be on a schedule tonight. These are all signed off for you? There you go, Howard.
Thank you.
Did you, you wanna talk about the last item of correspondence, when it comes up at public meeting, or you wanna talk about it now?
The zoning board of appeals, 60 Main Street?
No, we received, the Georgetown Park and Rec requested a continuance to March 12th.
I'm looking at the agenda that was sent out in the packet.
Yeah, there was an
That was in the
updated one that
packet.
was sent.
Where's the update? I'm sorry. Okay. And Park and Rec requests to continue, well, yeah, we'll deal with that later on. We have to open the hearing anyway. We can't not open the hearing. Right?
Right.
Yes.
Make a motion to open it?
Well, unless you wanna handle old business first, are we ready to deal with the
Yeah,
graphics and everything?
I'd like to
Take the old business?
Take the Georgetown Building Supply sign permit off the table.
Sure. We'll start with Georgetown Building Supply Plaza, sign permit for Georgetown Liquors. Sign permit for Georgetown
Down this
Liquors. Last week.
You're not up,
At our
you're quite
last
yet,
meeting.
Constantine.
Just for the,
Georgetown
just
Liquors,
for the-
this
yeah,
is the
yeah,
liquor store
yeah.
sign. At our last
Yeah.
meeting, some of the measurements were off. We were measuring the building
Yeah.
incorrectly, going over into the next parcel. And Howard, you squared that all up for us, right? Now we have the right dimensions.
Right.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Gonna go in the middle, right?
Well, we had to
The
measure the
Georgetown
building.
Liquors sign is 12 feet by a foot, and the store face for Georgetown Liquors is 21 by 11, which is 231 square feet. They're allowed up to 15%, which would be 34.65, and they're proposing 20. So they're within the sign bylaw, the allowed square footage of the sign.
Would someone like to make a motion to authorize the planner to sign the building permit signer, the sign permit? Okay.
I'll second that.
Mr. Rich makes the motion to have the planner sign the permit. Seconded by Tilly. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries
Thank you.
unanimous. Thank you.
If you want to stay here, Donna, we're also talking about Urban League Outfitters.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're under old business right now.
And hello again.
We're under old business.
Busy,
Hang on a
girl.
second.
Right, but
You wanna jump around like that, old business, new business?
I'm not saying jump around, I'm just asking if Donna, if she wants to stay. You
Yeah,
don't have to
that's
stay up
fine.
here or
I
in the
don't
back.
mind. Whatever you want, it's fine.
161 West Main Street. I would wanna brief us on that, a little bit on that. That was the one where, the applicant had a site plan approval and the conditions of the site plan approval weren't met after 1 year?
Right,
Okay.
and he was before the board at the last meeting, and the board requested that I find out what actions the board can take for him to enact the last part of his decision. And I contacted the building inspector, and he stated that the board would have to take the action through him. So you can make the request to the building inspector that he go out and investigate the property. And he can then take that as the action, and he can look into either revoking, suspending the certificate of occupancy, because he's the one that
Mr.
issued it.
Chairman,
Yes.
I would propose the following motion,
Motion by Mr. Rich,
that we instruct the planner to forward a copy of the complete decision concerning 161 West Main to the building inspector for enforcement purposes. And ask the building inspector to report back
I second that.
to the board by its next meeting.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Thought you were done.
at the, what would that be, the 226 meeting, right? Okay, so if I have the motion correctly, motion is to instruct the planner to forward a copy of the complete decision of 161 Main Street to the building inspector for the building inspector to report back to the board for the 2/26/14 meeting.
Yeah, what I would do is give him a copy of this motion
Right.
for his records.
Right.
Is there a second for that?
That's it.
Seconded by Mr. Watts. Any discussion?
Yeah, I feel that, I agree with the motion, but I think that the applicant should, if he's unable to meet the decision at this time, that he should apply for a modification to his original decision. And we should hear it again and hear his complaints. I would think it should be a formal process in that way, in that regard. I wouldn't want to see him shut down, because I don't see any other alternative than the building inspector to do that, because he's not meeting the conditions. So if he feels he can't meet the conditions for whatever reason, he should apply for the modification, and then we could discuss it further.
I may, Mr. Chairman, he was here at the last meeting and told us basically he wanted the decision changed and he wanted out. And he stated that as a private business, he was exempt. I've done my homework, he's not. And I have copies of that for the building inspector. Is my goal to shut him down? No, my goal is to get him in here and tell us when it's gonna be done.
I think
what-
that's the key.
That's why I would like a report from the building inspector. He's gotta give him so many days to comply, or he can,
Take more formal action.
take more formal action.
How many days would that be?
I don't know, but that gives the guy time to come in, even if it's 5 days, it's got time to come in and.
Come up with a
and-
plan.
And ask for a modification.
Well, I think that's what I'm trying to avoid. I think that the application should be filled out before he shows up in here again. If that's his plan,
He's not coming before us without an application for modification.
well, he did before, see, and I don't wanna see that repeated.
Well,
Tilly, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You know, how many times have we,
Well, then we shouldn't schedule him to come in without an application.
well,
Oh, I
in order to be on
understand,
our
that sounds
agenda,
like something separate.
In
That sounds
order-
like a separate thing.
but in order for him to be on our agenda, he's gotta request the plan to be put on the agenda. At that time, the planner should ask him why, and when he says it, you say, the proper step is to apply for modification.
The onus is on that building inspector to do that, though.
And when he applies for the modification, that would toll the building inspector's enforcement order,
Okay,
to suspend it until we're finished with the modification.
yeah, I think that's a good way to do it.
Let the record show, Wendy, that Larry Graham, the town's technical review agent, arrives at 7:15. Bob, any comments on this?
no, I think the key is, he needs to come up with a plan to comply.
I agree with Tilly, it seemed to me that he was asking the board, not in a formal way, but informally at the last meeting, to waive that condition. And he wasn't doing it under the right process, if you will. But, well, I'd love to see him come in with a modification. At any rate, anybody have any more comments or discussion? All in favor? Do you need the motion repeated?
No, I don't,
Okay. Anybody need the motion repeated? Okay. All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Unanimously. So Howard, let the building inspector know, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. That works out well. That's done, done. And we will start with the first public hearing of the night. That is the Park and Rec. What is that? West Main Street? East Main Street?
East Main Street.
East Main Street.
Excuse me, how are you gonna do new business later?
Oh, did I
fine,
skip
do
it?
Yeah, it's all right.
We
My
did it.
apologies. Let's open this public hearing, and then we'll go to new business.
Very
Good catch, Paul. Very sorry. Open the East Main Street recreational facility. Hearing. Howard, I believe you have a correspondence.
You open?
Second,
to-
yeah.
It's
okay.
open.
All right, yeah, we got correspondence from the applicant requesting that their public hearing that was continued tonight just be carried over to March 12th, so they can, they've hired a new engineer, and they want that engineer to become more knowledgeable about the project and address the items of the outstanding items as best as possible, so,
Great,
to March 12th.
great.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Rick?
I move that the board approves the request for continuance.
Motion by Mr. Rich
Yeah, Park and Rec.
Second that.
to continue to, what was that, March 12th, Howard?
March 12th.
March 12th, 2014, seconded by Tilly. Just have a little question. Larry, has the Park and Rec contacted you? Their new engineer?
No, no.
Thank you. All in favor of continuing the Park and Rec to March 12th, 2014, say aye.
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 Motion carries. 4-0. And now new business. Good catch, Bob, sorry about that one.
No problem.
We start with the Georgetown Building Supply sign permit. Is that there?
Come on back down.
Sign permit? Don,
Yeah,
you come
yeah.
back now, I guess.
The property owners have filed a
You own the property, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
sign application for Team League Outfitters. And you can see up here that they're proposing a 120 inch by 12 inch, which represents 220 square feet. Sign allowed by zoning is 33 square feet, and they're only proposing 10.
So it's under 15%,
It's
right?
under the 15%.
Wendy, did you
Yeah, for the record, clarify
check,
that.
check your correct the record? 1 foot by 12 feet is 12 square feet. Your calculation.
It was just a misspeak. You just misspoke, that's all. It's under 15%.
Just a little lips.
And this is Team Outfitters.
Sign's consistent with the rest that are going up.
Yep.
Sign at, and this is
Is
at,
this the one that was at the Eagle Building?
105?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Oh, that's a great location
Yeah,
for them.
yes, yep.
Right.
Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
Is that a yep to me?
Yes, I'm just writing it down. Team Outfitters sign at 105 Main. Do you have a motion to make, Mr. Rich?
Yes, I do. That I move to accept and approve the application.
To authorize the planner,
Authorize the planner to sign the building permit,
sign the sign permit?
the sign permit.
I second.
Seconded by Mr. Watts. No, when to bring this up.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it up later. Bring it up later. No, no, thank you.
All those in favor?
Yes,
Are you gonna stick
motion.
around for 105?
Hmm?
For Constantine's application,
Yeah.
you gonna stay around? Okay.
Gonna hang?
Yeah.
Thank you. All in favor of authorizing the planner to sign the sign permit for Team Outfitters at 103 East Main Street? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Unanimous. Done with that one.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
You're like a little jackrabbit tonight. We haven't hopping back and forth, huh? Sorry about that. Good. And now, sign permit for Georgetown Shopping Plaza, Pomodori, sign permit. Is there an applicant? No applicant. Interesting. Tell us what you know, Howard. Don't need an applicant. We just need information.
There's been an application made for the new restaurant that's moved into Jimmy K's. And I do not have it electronically, but I can show you the old building.
It's in the packet.
It's in the packet, though.
Hmm?
Just before public hearing number 1.
They wish to remove the existing signs, which are for the old Jimmy K's restaurant, and manufacture and install new ones. Up on the screen is the old Jimmy K's signage. You can see that there's signs located on the building that faces onto Central Street, and that faces internal to the property. This is the one that faces Central Street, and this is the one that goes internal to the property. This section of the building is shared by what I believe to be the sign store.
Dollar store or something, isn't it? I believe both those signs are down now.
The Jimmy K's
I
are
saw,
both down.
What exactly are they asking? Because the way I'm reading this, it looks as though they're asking to put, you don't have this graphic?
Yeah, I don't have it for the overhead.
Well,
But they're requesting that a sign that's 15 foot by 18 inches high be installed underneath this wreath right here. That's shown in your packet.
Mhm.
And then they're requesting that a sign that is 15 feet by 27 inches be installed on this location that faces central, which would be over here. And then they're requesting a sign that would be 9 inches by about 12 feet be installed over here.
So essentially, they're asking for 3 signs.
Correct.
It looks, are you saying that this is one sign?
That's
That's
one
one sign.
sign, and they're requesting that one sign be placed on the face of the building that faces central,
Right.
and then they're gonna split it up, so the Pomodori's text is on this face of the building right here, and the breakfast, lunch, dinner, the smaller piece, just be placed
Yep.
over here, in a similar location where Jimmy K's used to have the word restaurant.
How did they get 2 signs out of our bylaw? Can you explain
Oh,
that?
no. No, I can't.
The way the bylaw's written, oh, Chris, you have a copy of it, is there,
Yeah, I do.
what district are we in? We're in the, this would fall under business district,
Yeah.
because it's a
CB?
CC or CB there?
One sign mounted on the face of the building not to exceed an area more than 15% of the front wall area of said building if occupied by a single business. One sign mounted on the face of the building for each separate business jointly occupying a divided building, which this does. Each sign not to exceed 15% of the front wall area of that section of the building. This exercise is what we've gone through for the Georgetown Building Supply.
Right, because there are separate and distinct buildings, each one of them gets their own
We
sign.
space for
Each
the single space.
Different businesses, I meant to say. So, could you flip back to that for a minute, because the one thing I'm not seeing on that, essentially, one sign mounted on the face of the building, not to exceed in the area, on the front wall of the building, if it's occupied by a single business, or one sign mounted on the face of the building for each separate business jointly occupying a divided building.
Or roof of the building.
Or they could put it in the roof.
Right. Mr.
Well,
Chairman,
there are no roof signs, right?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, well, would that,
Does not extend above a flat roof or the elevation of the front wall
okay.
by more than 20% of the average height of the front elevation of the building.
Okay, the one under the wreath, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, well,
If I
the
may?
first thing I'm
One
gonna get
of-
by is the one.
One or the other. I mean, the one on the front of the, you can either have one on the side of the building or on the roof,
I'm not seeing that.
or above the plane of the roof, yeah, it says or.
You can only have one.
Flat roof, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
One. You've got one too many here. Because there's an or, and that's a zoning issue. That's not a planning board issue.
Right, it sounds like to give them more than one sign, they would need
Relief from the zoning
relief from the
bylaw.
zoning bylaw.
ZBA,
I'll accept a motion to refer this to the ZBA.
so moved.
Motion by Chris to refer this to the ZBA for decision.
Mr. Chairman, if I may explain,
Hmm?
you heard of my motion?
Sure, let's wait till we get a second.
Second.
Okay, go for it.
Thank you.
Yep.
I just wanna make sure it's done right, so that it doesn't go through all the steps and have somebody appeal it because it wasn't done properly. Or get to the building inspector, who will then say, yeah, that's all hunky-dory, but there's a zoning issue here.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
At least this way it's done. I've no doubt it'll go through the ZBA.
That's a ZBA thing. My problem is, I don't have a problem with any of the signs. My problem is that the bylaw says one sign.
Exactly.
And
And we
that's
got two.
two, that's multiple. Whether
Right.
it's 2, 3, however you
Right.
wanna chop it all up.
And the other thing,
It's more
the
than
other
one.
thing that they
If
need
there's a
to-
problem with the sign bylaw,
is the.
like I always say, change the bylaw if you have a problem with the law. Don't just ignore it and wink and nod.
And the other thing that they have to deal with is breakfast, lunch, and dinner, a separate sign from the Pomodori's on the roof.
Sure sounds like something that they'd want relief from the zoning board.
Yeah, I would,
I
I'd
don't even think
recommend-
we really need to deal with that at this point.
No, but my thoughts are, I'd recommend that they bring that up at the ZBA also.
They can bring up anything they
If
want.
they're
at the
listening.
ZBA.
If they're not, they can watch it on.
Well, I'm sure
the
Howard
stream.
will figure it all out and.
Also in some correspondence to the building inspector about why it's not being signed.
Right. Okay,
Thank you.
and, all in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye. All in favor? All opposed?
I'll abstain because I didn't really go into it. I didn't study it. But
Motion carries 3-0, one abstention.
I like the sign, so I didn't think anything of it.
Right, but it's not within our legal authority to
Yeah.
grant it,
I understand.
so it's not a question of whether we like it or don't like it or any of that. It's beyond the scope of our ability to do it,
Yeah,
if that's the request that's being made.
I understand.
We can't.
I know, but I just didn't study it myself.
Wouldn't want to give anybody the impression that we could do something like that.
We don't wanna usurp the authority of the,
I'm surprised the building inspector sent it around because he's usually up on those things before he does that.
Well, I think that's why it's sent around, so that we can pick up on these things and get back to them, right?
Yeah, it's a double check, but, yeah, usually he's right on top of things.
For once, the system worked. Amazing. Great. That's done with. And we've taken care of the public hearings for the athletic facilities. Next up, I'm gonna open the definitive subdivision plan for Turning Leaf.
so moved.
I don't need a
Second.
motion. I don't need a motion. I'm a chair, I can do stuff like that. They'll let me. This is a public hearing continued from January 22nd, 2013. And my understanding is that we've received a good deal of information just the other day. I received your report yesterday, and I believe Howard handed us some plans.
Yep.
And is there any other information you'd like to give us?
I did do a letter just certifying that we had the right to change those Remember we had those 3 properties and Larry had asked if we had the legal right to do that?
Okay, you'd like to submit that?
Yeah, so it's simple, just where I
To
swear.
give Howard a copies for the file, and
Thanks.
he'll make copies of it.
I have extras too if you want.
Great. And
Not gonna-
thank you very much. We'll put that, just send that along with the, any other further information for our packets at the, well.
Oh, and I
next week.
think I apologize, I think you also got 10 copies
we
of.
have
Oh, we
them
have them?
To hand out.
Oh,
Are you
okay, I
gonna
thought we
give
had
us
already done
We
it.
something?
sent out.
Yeah, we have the traffic report too, to
And
give
you
to
also
you,
received the traffic report.
Yep. that we can hand out. Who has 10 copies?
Okay, please give it,
Dan.
all the
Dan does.
information you have to Howard, please.
Yep.
How many copies do you want, Howard?
Larry, did you receive a
Via
hard copy?
email, yeah.
Via email? Do you want a hard copy?
Please.
Yeah, so 5. 6.
6, right?
And 2 for the file.
So 8, I need 2 more for them. I already have a copy, I printed it out, so if we do 2 more. Oh, I'm sorry, okay, Dan.
And do you need some for the file?
No, we request 2 because one usually goes to Larry. He's getting
Oh,
one
okay.
now, and so we got one original for the file.
Do you need, your set, Howard?
Yeah.
Want an autographed copy, Larry?
You want an
Well,
autograph?
thank you
one?
very much. Given that we've received a great deal of information only tonight, and Larry's report came in only yesterday, and we have buku plans updates that are being received. I'd like to thank you for the submission of the information. I'll take a motion now for continuation.
You don't want us to at least give you an overview of what some of the information is?
Read it.
Because we do have with us Dan Mills, who can give you like a 3-minute spiel about the information that was presented, since the abutters are here, and I figure maybe the board will want to just hear that.
Well,
And
we
Dan
can take
Mills
it
is
up
our
at the next
traffic
meeting.
engineer.
We can take it up at the next continuation, because we'll have a chance to look at it. The problem is that we have a policy that says that the information we receive so that we can intelligently discuss it and ask questions has to be received a week earlier. So if we got it last Thursday, and it was received by us last Thursday, then I'd feel comfortable discussing it, asking questions, hearing a presentation about it. But where we didn't do that, and we're just now getting the information.
Well, we just wanted to give you additional information, which is
Tonight?
which is an explanation of, like, 3 minutes of an explanation of the highlights of that report. Can we have 3 minutes?
You can do that at the next continuation, so that we can more fully appreciate that 3 minutes when you present it, because we'll know exactly what you're referring to.
Jill, I think if you remember, if I may, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
If you remember when I pushed upon my colleagues the continuance date for today? The minutes reflect that I specifically said, you asked for that at your peril. All those reports that want to be discussed have to be in a week ahead of time. And I think you said something about making sure that they were in, and they aren't. And we hold everybody else to that, including Park and Rec, a governmental body in the town.
Nope, I'm just-
And so, it's my colleagues, and anyone correct me if I'm wrong, the consensus is we have to hold you guys to it too.
No, we understand. We didn't really want to discuss that. We just thought it would be better for you and for the audience to just get a summary if you don't want to hear it.
You might want to give one of the representatives of the neighborhood a copy of the traffic report, so they might be able to read it and make copies amongst themselves.
And if you
Only
have
one
another
copy.
copy of the plan,
You don't have to supply
you
the
might
whole
want to
neighborhood.
give them one.
Yeah, I
That
don't
would
think we
always
have-
be a good thing. I've found that giving a butters, you're under no obligation to do that, but
Is that okay with you folks
usually
down there?
does.
Do you have someone that
gives them some relief.
we can give one copy to and you'll share it with everybody?
And then they'll have the opportunity to look at it.
You can always come into the planning office and receive a copy or request something electronically.
Right, you got it.
Oh, accept the motion to continue the hearing to, what would it be? March 12th, 2014.
So moved.
Chris makes a motion to continue to 3/12/14. Is there a second? Seconded by Bob.
Can you look at Tom?
Any further discussion by the board? All in favor?
Is that our
I'm
next,
sorry.
is that our next meeting?
No, our next meeting is the 26th of this month, and
Is that booked up?
it
It's
is
booked up
ready
with
to be
bylaws,
booked up.
amendments, and
Yeah.
other zoning
Go
issues.
to 3 o'clock in the morning? No. Fine, I'll let the motion stand. I just-
All in favor of continuing to next meeting after next?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Larry, it's always a pleasure.
I have a question, Larry. Who asked you to be here?
Howard, and I discussed it. Be here, we appropriately.
In the future, I would hope that we don't have to charge the applicant for your appearance unless this board asks for you to be here. And we certainly will move that to Howard in the future. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. And the next would be site plan application for 105 Rear East Main Street. First public hearing. Since you're here anyway.
How can it,
Maybe we can mitigate a little bit.
how can it hurt?
That, yeah.
Constantine, they've received what you submitted, so they all have a full-size, one-page copy, as well as all the 8.5 by 11 documentation.
Howard, this is a hearing
Constantine
for a
Ritchie,
site plan approval?
for site plan approval. I also
And-
want to add in the fact that
Let's just read into the record that this is for 105 Rear East Main Street. And,
do you want me to read the public hearing notice, or
you know what?
we'll
That's
just
probably-
transcribe it in?
You can transcribe it in. Is anyone here as an abutter to this? Okay. Given that, it would be a waste of time to do it, just Can we all agree
Chairman, I'll
that
waive,
that should go in?
motion to waive the reading of the,
Did you get the certification that the butters were
By
notified?
consensus, by unanimous consent,
No,
we're
'cause we
waiving
sent it out.
the reading.
Okay.
Oh,
We sent out the
We
public
sent
hearing
the public
notice.
hearing notice, we don't need any.
so you sent it out to the butters?
if you
Everybody's
need
got it. Did
to
you get
talk
any-
about anything that's on the screen, this is
No
a laser
correspondence
pointer.
back?
No.
When did you send it?
What's legally required, probably a month ago.
A month ago.
At least.
And nobody responded? Yeah.
I just want to add that part of this site plan application, he's also provided a sign, which I have a picture of.
Well, let's deal with the site plan
Sign.
first.
That's fine, it's just part of the application.
Absolutely.
I do not have an electronic copy of it, so we can look at hard copies.
Site plan approval, with a sign permit. First things first, do we have an M account established?
No.
Motion to account, establish an M account?
So moved.
I just want to add, it's fairly minor in nature. You didn't request extensive review of the honeydew, and that was much more extensive of this.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you,
Just an M account, if we don't use any of the money, it goes back.
okay,
Mr. Chairman,
I would suggest, not the 4,000, but 2,000 as a max. M account, is that a motion?
What is that M account? What is that?
It's called a 53G account. It lets the review occur for this. If we need Larry to look at it, if we need a traffic study, if we need whatever we need.
pays for his time.
Mm-hmm, okay.
M account will be established. Howard?
we just need to check. Constantine, are you available tomorrow to come into the planning office?
Yes.
To fill out the escrow agreement and bring in a W-9 form, we can quickly fill it out.
I think we need $2,000 or $1,000. I don't know.
1,000 might do it.
1,000 is.
You wanna make it 1,000?
Yes, that's fair.
By unanimous consent, 1,000.
Larry, do you think your review of these plans would be,
I don't-
should not exceed $1,000?
I probably could keep it under that, depending,
Can I just say something? This is an existing building, and I'm not modifying that building in any way, shape, or form. It was the old Danvers Block building, and I'm just renting the first floor of that building, and that's it.
Well, that's what, I mean, that's part of your hearing, Mr. Constantine. Just at first glance, and I don't have a scale with me. Can anyone tell me how far those parking spaces are from the building?
Yeah.
Do the parking spaces go right up to the building? Under the present bylaw, there has to be a 5-foot setback. That's what he's gonna catch.
Absolutely.
And they can go 5
He's
feet
gonna
down.
catch a number of things.
It just has to be drawn in.
And it will be after the snow goes.
You might wanna look at that.
But that's why we have a technical review agent. You get to pay for it.
Thanks.
I just, we're getting into specifics on the site plan, I just want to add the reason why he's in, is we received a slip from the building inspector to have a look at this, and I asked him, well, have you issued a CO? He said no, and we investigated it further, we went out to visit the site, John and I, and basically it was determined it was an expansion of the use, so that's what's brought in the site plan application.
Site plan approval.
An expansion of the use, but this use has never been here.
So that's.
Well, it was 2 years ago, it was Danvers Block, and that was their office.
But your business, well, why don't you explain your business first? Let's start at the beginning.
Good way, excellent point.
Hydraulic hose and fittings.
Hose and fittings.
Right.
All right, don't know what you're talking about. I know what a hose is, and
Okay.
let's,
Maybe I can help you. You cut the hose,
Larry?
Put the
press
fittings on the
fit the
end.
fittings on them?
Yes.
kinda coincides with everything we've done for,
So you're not manufacturing anything, you're just assembling things, correct?
Right.
Are you cleaning the hoses with anything, using any kind of,
This is all brand new.
they're
these
all
houses,
new,
they're all-
no
everything's new.
cleaning?
We
The
don't-
only,
we
the only
don't-
waste is old hose,
Old roads, yes.
and you'll have
No solvents
correct
involved?
removal.
Hmm?
You'll have the appropriate removal for it.
Right.
It's consistent with, all hazmat laws and all that.
Right, I'll set something up with Mello.
So you'll have a dumpster?
Yeah, I'll have a small one. At the end of the, because it's a small area, at the end of the week, I'll just take a bundle over in my truck.
But you'll have a dumpster at some point?
Right, a little bin.
Is that shown on the
The
plan?
bin will be inside. It's just
Internal.
gonna be inside.
A roller bin.
Yes.
Are you gonna use the entire block area, or the ones with the bays, or just the?
No,
we
no,
don't-
just the
The old
L-shaped
store
place up
part.
front. So it's about 900 square feet, 1,000 square feet, somewhere
I
around
thought it said,
It's about 60 by 120 or so, but it's the area on this plan that's got the hatch.
there. Right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
right,
Right, and it's just the first floor, you're not renting the second
60
floor.
by 20.
correct.
It's 60 by 20 plus 100 by 50, or?
Yeah, but I'm not using that 100 by 50.
I see, okay.
Just
Oh,
that,
you're not renting that part?
no,
You're just renting the hatch out part?
just the small spot. yeah.
Understood, understood. Is the parking going to be an issue there if you put the cars there? Isn't the area that, well, the concrete block building that you're not renting, aren't there bay doors there?
Yeah,
Yeah, but they can just move the truck over one bay. They can put,
So you're gonna be like shutting off that door?
yeah, we do now
Not bad.
anyways with material, so.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not anything we have to get in and out of,
Okay.
if that's what you're
What kind
asking.
of traffic flow do you expect?
oh, that's a good question. I'm hoping maybe 20 customers a day.
A day.
And when you and I were out at the site, you talked about the primary consumers being landscapers and contractors. Do you think they're showing up with trucks and trailers, or just a separate truck? And
No, they'll show up, if they're coming in with the hose, that equipment's not running. It's on a site somewhere and they want that hose fixed. They want a new hose, a replacement hose, so they can go back out and put it on their piece of equipment and keep running.
I can tell you, I'm not asking many questions about the nature of your business, because I've probably brought hoses to be repaired many, many times, and fittings in Boston and other locations, Wakefield. These are basically, the hose breaks, you take the hose off, you throw it in the back of a pickup truck, you bring it down, and you,
Go down
have
to
it fixed.
hydraulics plus and you replace it.
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
Off you go.
And now the business model is actually a van that comes right out to the job and creates it there on site. But this is definitely, a smaller outfit would definitely come and utilize the business a great deal. I think
We'll
it's
be
a great,
delivering
I think
with
it's a great
drones.
use.
Or a
Pardon me?
homeowner that might happen to have machines with,
Well, that's true too. And it's always good. It's a
those
good
of us that
business.
have forklifts and excavators.
So I wouldn't bring my garden hose. You know,
No.
you know,
I don't think it's that kind of hose.
You can bring it, Tilly, but
You have to bring that up front.
I have a little bit of an issue.
Okay.
With what might be larger trucks and its traffic flow, and recently we dealt with the plaza as a whole under a site plan approval. Whether you're aware of it or not, you've probably seen the signs. The idea is to enter in, well, I wish we could see it up here on the screen.
Let me just tell you, we put those signs up that said, do not, whatever you asked the last time, we put those signs up. I watched 5 cars go out that way. It's just you have to get them used to it. You do, because the signs are there and they're all going out that way.
Donna, you were only charged with putting the signs up.
Right,
you're
I
not a
mean,
cop.
but I think once human nature and they just get the flow of it, they'll do it.
And
But
that's why.
it
we
takes a
ask-
while.
We ask people that are coming in to instruct their deliveries to come in one and out the other.
Right, right, you can only lead them a certain
You
way.
can only put the signs up. If
Right,
people wanna
right.
disobey them.
But, I
That's
mean,
their
I
gig.
think they just don't get it, you know, they will, but,
A lot of it's a knee-jerk reaction. I can't tell you how many times I'm pulling out and I go,
right, me too, and I've
And I
been
go out
going
the
out of that parking lot for a long time, and I have to think, go
Yeah.
the right way, you know?
You have
For a
old
long-
habits to break.
Yes,
For a
right,
long
like
time.
everyone else, so you just gotta go the right
For a
way.
long time, you could pull out of that parking lot anywhere you wanted
Right,
to.
Felt
but
like
you
it
can't
was
now,
wide
so
open.
you're just
Right.
retraining your mind,
is
so.
there, for whatever you have trucks coming in, is there adequate room back there for them to turn around and go out the proper way?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's time, you can turn a tractor trailer around there, back there. You can back up and and actually go out just that halfway and turn out and go out the same way without going all the way around.
What's
We've
up on
done
the
that for
screen
many
is the
years.
approved site plan for Honeydew Donuts. It's not the proposed site plan
Uh-huh, okay.
that you have in hard copy, but this will help facilitate the discussion
Excellent,
about traffic flow.
excellent. Would you just take that hand and show folks how the traffic is supposed to go for,
The improvements made for Honeydew was an enter only
Mhm.
with 2 arrows. There's a sign here that says enter only, and I believe now on the
Right,
back, it
yeah.
says do not exit.
Do
It
not
says not an exit.
Yeah, not an exit, yeah.
The striping was added after
Mm-hmm.
you paved the parking lot. And then egress only right here, where there's a sign that you would see from Route 133, says do not enter.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, I believe it says,
Exit only.
And there's
Exit only.
arrows actually on the,
Painted.
painted on the thing,
a
yeah.
little tough to see with the snow.
Yeah,
So the
yeah,
idea-
that's tough to see with the
the
snow, yes.
idea was, for this, is that semis that are delivering would come in, enter only,
Right,
go over to the crushed rock and
right,
work for the bulk storage that's in the back.
right,
And
Mhm.
it's gated here, and the semis would exit
Mhm.
out this way.
And you have idling, no idling signs in the back.
right, yes, we do, 2 of them, yeah,
Give it to Bob.
yeah.
How many deliveries would you have for this business?
One maybe every 2 or 3 weeks.
A big truck? No.
Probably
No.
not. What, I'll use my other Georgetown facility for warehousing,
What's your other Georgetown?
38 Jackman Street. I'm a bridge contractor, 38 Jackman, so I'll probably
So I
bring
think
bring stuff in there and
Yeah.
then just take it as I need it, because you can't, that's not, that place is not made to store that much stuff.
You're right,
It's just
So
retail.
this is
Get your
more of a
retail outlet.
convenience for your
Yeah.
clients?
Huh?
This is more of a convenience for your customers?
Correct.
How much noise is gonna be involved with this?
None,
None? None?
no.
Did any of the neighbors come in and knock on the door,
They said, when are you opening?
Mm-hmm.
or, oh, cause the neighbors were very upset with Danvers Concrete block. I'm surprised that no one is here.
But it's very quiet.
Yeah.
There is no noise for
No noise for,
putting on hose fittings. It's just a big.
yeah, it's
Hydraulic
quiet back there, it really,
Hydraulic
it's
ram,
quiet
that's a-
back there,
that's a
yeah,
fitting on.
yeah.
It's not gonna make any noise. No noise that would leave the building that I can imagine.
Just somebody yelling hip, 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 hip hooray, I get my machines running.
I have some concerns. The concern I have is where the parking is, where it's being shown, I should say. It does need to be 5 feet according to the zoning, the zoning code. Needs to be 5 feet away from the building.
So
Yeah.
we pull it out
And
5
it can
feet.
be,
Well,
it
it's
can
not
be,
shown that way
yeah,
on the plan.
yeah.
So
I'm surprised he didn't pick it out, because I
Mm-hmm.
hired the same engineer that.
What's
did
the
thing
scale?
he did.
40 scale.
I don't know what to say.
No, I mean.
Neither do I.
see you
I don't know
put
what
your
to say.
scale out. From the
I'm
edge of
surprised
the,
he didn't know that, that's all.
from the edge of the building,
Who is it?
oh, they, looks like they go right up to the building.
it's,
In the front, it's
Merrimack
5 feet.
Engineering.
Oh, in the front, it's 5 feet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
back here, of course,
Yeah,
it's
in the
right
front,
up to the
because there's a
building.
sidewalk
Yeah.
there, and that's the idea that
Yeah.
people can walk, I guess. Yeah.
so your issue is only 5 feet from the building to park? Is that,
Yes, it's supposed to be. One of the other things for the HP accessibility, you show an HP accessible parking spot there. I didn't see anything about a sign on the building, that it has to be that it's going to be an HP spot.
Well, we would do it on the ground, but there's snow there, so we would paint it.
Put a post,
Yeah,
regulation,
okay.
regulation post with a sign on it.
So
That-
there's a
that needs to be shown
handicap
on the
sign.
plan.
Sure, sure,
It needs to
yeah,
be shown on the plan. All these things need to be shown on the
yeah,
plan.
yeah.
Nothing like the other Danvers sign on the street.
No, oh, no, that's long gone.
Do you see anything fall off the page to you, Larry?
Well, I have some questions.
Please, by all means, while we have the
The
benefit of
normal,
having
the
you here.
normal way that someone would get in would be to enter here and come around,
Uh-huh.
park, and then exit. Am I
That was the
correct?
plan for the
That's-
heavier trucking,
What about routine?
routine.
Routine,
Business?
yeah, business to this establishment right here. Where are they
I
gonna?
really don't know the plan. What is the plan? How do you
They
see?
can only come in the main parking lot one
They
way.
have to come in
Right, they
here.
have, they
Yep.
they have
But
to.
are
have
they
that.
gonna do this, or are they gonna do?
Oh, no, they usually go that way. It's when, you know, they come out, they just need to be trained that way, but they always go that way.
They won't be
You know.
coming, they won't be going around the building.
No, they never do that,
Just
never.
outside.
Yeah, I know, you mean going this way?
So
Yeah,
they're
they
either
never do
gonna
that.
come down this way, or they're gonna
Right.
come down this aisle and go up and go
Correct.
in.
But is that the exit? way?
Yeah, no, they only go this way. They only come in this
don't
way
have
by
a
the
sign
liquor
or
store
anything?
and go that way, and that's the way the traffic flow is, and there's signs
Okay, right
that
where it
way.
says enter only on your plan, Tilly,
Right.
right there.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is next to Honeydew.
Yeah, but
Right, that's exit only. They don't
There's a
enter
sign
there.
there?
Correct,
Oh,
they
yes.
do not enter there, yeah.
I've been there, I've seen it. On
Okay.
one
Yeah.
side it says do not enter,
Yeah.
on the other side it says exit only.
Yeah.
Can you scroll over to the right and see what the RU is? RU sign? Deliveries in the rear is the sign.
Mm-hmm.
Scroll back over because I didn't notice the note. And that's the old one, and maybe it sounds like right on those pillars there. We need to,
Mount RZ
On
and
the back
RU
of
on
them.
building, mount,
Right, right.
mount sign, RU on pillar.
right. Deliveries in rear. That's the only sign that.
You mean facing this way?
Well, what would be the smartest traffic way to handle that as its own separate business? To bring the vehicles that way?
Oh, you gotta all go that way. The flow's gotta go that way. You don't want people going that way and that way,
Right, exactly.
know?
Exactly. But the point is that you might end up having someone enter through the correct entrance.
Mm-hmm.
Go up a little bit, yes, and go just like Howard's going and try to go in that way. And that's not the desired way,
No, right,
because you're gonna run into problems
right,
with that.
exactly, exactly.
She
So-
said that's where the signs are.
Yeah, there should
What
be,
sign's that?
that do not enter.
Exit only,
RU
isn't
deliveries
it?
in rear, RZ
What
turn off
does it
engines,
say?
no idling,
I'm not seeing
and
that sign on the plan.
Yeah, it needs to be put.
Is that it?
Yeah.
no, that's RU and RZ, and that's no idling and deliveries in the rear. There isn't
No,
any
there's
that
an
says
RU
do not
right there.
enter.
Yeah, RU is no idling.
And
But
what,
that was a
So you
concern
want
of
a
the
sign
neighbors.
that says, do not enter that way?
That's it.
Okay, gotcha,
Show that on the
gotcha,
plan
gotcha.
as
And
well.
I have the sign. They sent us 2 extra
Just
signs, so I
be
have the
noted
signs
on
all
the
put
plan.
on.
RZ, Harry,
So do not
RZ,
enter,
RZ?
coming this way, so they
Right.
don't go in,
Turn off
That's
gotcha.
it.
Turn off
Yeah.
engines?
no idling.
Yeah.
Slash
No
no
idling,
idling.
Yeah,
traffic. Yeah.
there's about
RU
3
is
of those
deliveries
out
in the
there.
rear.
Deliveries in the rear.
And it
Right.
says,
Mhm.
mount sign RU on pillar.
Shut off engines. So-
No,
Yeah.
RU.
Deliveries in the
RU
rear.
is deliveries in the rear.
Right, and that was to address a concern that the neighbors had,
Mm-hmm.
that people would be pulling up to Dunkin' Donuts, excuse me, said the bad word, I said the D
Honeydew.
word. Honeydew Donuts, and the trucks would be idling there. Remember what you have, you're very, very close to, the residential district, or right on that line there, right here. As a matter of fact, it's not shown on this plan, but I believe it bisects the property.
No, and
parcel.
I'm very sensitive to that because
Absolutely.
I've gone out there and I did what I walked along there and thought, if I lived there, how would I want to look into that? So I'm very, I'm very conscious of that.
And just to add to this, what I may suggest is, with this discussion, is that you have a sign up here that says deliveries in rear.
Right, mm-hmm,
That you take that down, cause a delivery or someone coming to visit hydraulic hose may seem that as, that means I need to go to the back.
mm-hmm,
And move it over here, so people say deliveries in rear, that must be the way around.
yeah,
And you take that off, and instead you put the do not enter there.
okay.
I have one problem with that, Howard. If one applicant has this plan, and the next applicant has that plan, and the two are conflicting,
Alright, then you can just
then we have
leave
an
the
issue.
deliveries in rear and just add the do not enter.
Maybe that might be the better way. That way, at some point,
However you want us to
5
put the
years down
signs,
the
we'll
road,
put the signs.
we're not looking
Yeah.
at two separate.
So we have them all going,
be
everybody
consistent.
going the right
Right,
way.
they really need to be
Mhm.
consistent for,
Mhm.
yes.
So
Right.
there's a do not enter sign in the side drive, right, right in front?
Right by Honeydew.
Right by
Is that what you're
Honeydew.
asking?
Yeah.
That would seem to be the best way to
Okay,
handle it.
do not enter.
So that,
Mm-hmm,
so that folks won't be tempted to
And then,
Yeah.
and then the handicap sign on the building.
by you,
buy your parking.
Correct.
And then pull the parking spots
5 feet
5
off.
feet back,
Okay, yep,
right?
yep.
And that's not gonna cause a
Yep.
problem. Anything else?
I,
Put a
well,
sign
I'm
there
confused. Go ahead.
saying your business
I'm
name,
really confused.
entranceway, where you're gonna
Mhm.
put, you know, you
Yeah.
could direct it.
Yep.
With your business right there, hydraulic, whatever,
Plus, yeah.
yeah. Entranceway, you
Mhm.
know.
Well, I would have to put that
Over
over
there,
over
sway.
there by the, on the,
Mhm.
to the
That's
right of the
right.
liquor
Yeah,
store.
yeah.
That's right. That might help.
Mhm.
What were you saying, Christopher? You were confused. Let's handle the
So
confusion.
I'm
before.
confused, cause
They're
it
right
sounds
for you,
like you're saying you're putting a do not enter in the opening between the Honeydew and the septic system.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Yeah.
the-
That's what you're asking,
Okay,
correct?
if you don't go in there, how do you get back to Hydraulics Plus?
You gotta
Whatever
go
the routes are
around.
supposed to
You gotta
run.
go around by the liquor store
go
and
around by the
round.
liquor
So
store.
we're keeping
Yeah.
the traffic flow, go in one way and out the other, so you
gotcha.
can keep
Alright,
it that
yeah,
way,
makes
all the
sense.
way in and out. I think it's a better
That
flow.
sounds safer.
I
That's a perfect
honestly,
flow.
I've been there. I live
Yeah.
in the parking
Yeah,
lot. I'm
you're the
telling
one
you,
that's
I
probably
know
getting-
it. You gotta go in and
Almost
out that
hit more
same
times.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, people are either gonna listen or they're
Yeah,
gonna ignore
yeah.
it.
Most guys are gonna park out front
Right.
by Honeydew and walk.
Right. I mean, you
grab a
can only
coffee and
lead
walk
them
back.
that way, but I'm telling
No
you,
way,
that's
they're not
the
gonna
way to
carry the
go.
hose.
They're
Yeah.
not
Well,
gonna carry
if it's a
those.
little dinky hose, maybe, but they're not gonna carry it.
No, no.
It's local floor operated, they don't get paid to carry.
No, you're not gonna carry that. It's gonna be dripping all over. No.
Well, they're gonna stop for coffee, but as
They're not-
long as they
they're
don't
not
aisle
gonna
that
carry it.
truck.
Yeah.
You gotta take it out of the bed with rags on both
Mm-hmm.
sides and bring it in, right?
I just want to add that we got a response back from the Board of Health. That may have been another concern, and she didn't have any comments. And all the other departments haven't sent in any comments at all, so.
Did you say no response from the Board of Health?
No, we got a response from the Board of Health. It said no
No
comments.
comment.
That's
We
great.
didn't get any response from other ones, so.
Does that have its own septic?
At least we know they
Yes.
saw it.
And you're not increasing any gallonage or anything?
No. Oh, no. 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 Mm-mm.
Don't drink a lot of water. Larry, did you have
That's the only
some?
concern
Yeah,
the
a
Board of
couple
Health
of
should have.
things. I understand now that this is the main route
Mhm.
around.
Mhm.
Does Georgetown Building Supply still have a lot of, brick and so forth?
Yeah,
back in-
yeah, yeah,
And also, this is shown as a separation of property line.
yeah,
Is there an easement that
Yeah.
that allows us to have?
Yes.
It's under the same ownership.
yes.
Same ownership,
Yes.
so there's no need to have any
No.
kind of access easement?
Mhm.
What is this area right here used for? This paved area?
That is just, block and brick, some stone on pallets. That's behind the building, is that what you're asking?
Right here, but
Behind that
I was
garage?
wondering if you move that parking back, going back to what Harry had said,
Mhm.
that is gonna tend to block 5 more feet of entrance to this building here. And I was wondering if those spaces couldn't be lined here as
Mm-hmm.
people pull in. The headlights, if it's dark in the wintertime, are not facing the residential. And
Oh,
you
they'll
could-
be facing the building, they could face the building, 5 feet away from the building, right?
Well, yes, according to the bylaw, I'm just
Mhm.
wondering, to free up the front of the building and
Mhm.
the front of this building, if those spaces couldn't be located right here.
That would be my move.
Yeah, I thought
That would
that's
actually
what
be
we
my
were
move.
doing, right?
And although it does
Yeah.
Move your parking slightly
Slightly
further
away.
away from the front of your building. It opens up the
Yep.
bay doors to your building, which you're not using.
Yeah, whatever you,
It's yours, I mean, I'm
however
sure
he
it can
has
be
it.
I
designed.
mean, they're coming in, they can park here, they can back out and come right out. So, I mean,
Sounds like a very practical solution. And, of course,
But
it's a great
however you have
suggestion,
it.
I think. You might wanna have the engineer draw that on.
I think,
The plan, if you would.
Go ahead, Donna, you think?
well, wherever you want us to put the parking spots, we'll put them, but why does he gotta pay, you know? I mean, we'll do them wherever you want us to do them. 5 feet away from the building, if that's what you want.
Well,
that
that's
what
what the
you're
bylaw
asking?
calls for. We can,
Yeah,
yeah.
so we'll do
So
that.
you have to show that on,
Yeah.
on the plan. I just had one question that I noted. Two other changes. In the dimensional and density summary, would you add a triple asterisk to, where it says 41.38 feet under, existing for hydraulics plus?
Where is that, Mary?
Shoot, in the dimensionals.
Right, but
Yeah.
triple asterisk next to dimensional, which is.
Right, where it's talking about the minimum lot setbacks.
Right,
Side lot in the CV is 10, and the existing is 41.38. You might want to add that triple asterisk, pre-existing building. It shows it refers to pre-existing building. And the other one's, excuse me, the rear setback. You might want to add that there too.
Just put triple S.
Yeah, the one above it, the 269. .09 has the triple asterisk. You might want to add those just to point out to anyone looking at it that this is a pre-existing building.
Okay, I don't have a plan, so I wanna make sure I put everything down that,
we come in tomorrow, we'll go over it.
okay.
Yeah, I'll give you this at the end of the night, Howard.
All right.
Sure, one other thing that I did notice was, the islands. The proposed landscape islands, those aren't installed yet. What's the plan for that?
Those islands right there.
Yeah. Those are on
Yeah.
Honeydew's plan,
Yeah,
those
yeah,
are
yeah.
on, full
Yeah,
plan.
we'll do those. We'll plan on doing those. We've done a lot. We've done everything that you've asked, and we will do those. I just don't know why we haven't done them yet, but we've done a lot.
The weather may have beat you.
Yeah, I mean, the snow is just like everywhere.
It's so much more attractive.
It
than
is.
it was.
When
Thank
did you,
you.
complete the paving and the striping?
When?
Yeah.
That was during honeydew, so that had to be in the,
Was it August, September?
yeah, before that, probably, I think.
Cause
That
I
was-
recall some conversation may have happened that it was getting too late in the year to start doing plantings and everything, and that you would be doing it in the
Right,
spring.
right, right.
I don't wanna hurt your feelings, but there's more snow coming.
It's just too damn cold. You have no idea.
You're
It's so
breaking
cold
my
there.
heart. Really, I wanna hear it.
But no, we'll do that. So you're saying those two round things should be plantings, like that original honeydew?
That's what was approved.
Correct. Yep, yep.
So I have a-
And I recall that those islands were discussed at the same time. You were talking about the buffer area out in front.
Yep, I
and you
remember
did those
that. Yep, yep,
improvements.
I do. Yep.
We probably have documentation of what the requirements were for that, so if the applicant needs that information, I'm sure. we can supply it.
And why was that? Was that for traffic flow?
That's remember we were saying that people just sort of go back out the way they.
Yeah, well,
People go back out the way they come in. They get distracted. They don't
Yeah.
really look at signs.
Yeah.
They know if they.
But you
enter
know, you
over
have a
here
bunch of
and they drive
piles
over
of
to get a
snow, it
coffee,
changes the whole
And
thing.
then
Yeah.
the first thing in their
Yeah.
mind isn't, I'm gonna go out that way. It's,
Right.
I'm gonna leave the way I came in.
Right, yeah.
And that'll
Yeah.
turn them around and
Yeah.
that'll help direct it.
Yeah.
The big,
Armed guards.
the salt flats
Mm-hmm.
effect of that parking lot.
I did have a question about the right-hand side in terms of the counterclockwise flow. That sawtooth looks, where it says 89 and 95,
Mhm.
comes to a point.
That's a
That-
lot line, right?
That's what I'm assuming. So
Does that represent the lot line?
I don't think so. I thought that was just the delineation of the crushed stone.
Oh, okay.
There's the lot line, which is a solid line, there's a lot line.
Mhm.
And because this was done for Honeydew, which is on this parcel,
We don't see the,
we don't see
the
the,
right-hand side one.
correct. So I would say this
Interestingly
is,
enough, though, we do see a,
Monument there.
yeah, it looks like a mon, doesn't it? It goes up there, and maybe it's an irregular shaped,
This 125 feet is what abuts the Knights of Columbus.
oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gee, I'm the Grand Knight.
But if it is less than the required minimum side yard, it's in a pre-existing condition, as is the other one.
I think
4138.
Bob's talking about the ability of trucks to drive through there, though.
Yes,
Isn't that what you're
exactly.
referring to?
And if that crushed stone area, is that built to be a driveway? Will the drainage
They-
work?
Oh, I can tell you, I'm telling you, it's sturdy enough for trucks to go through. There's tons of stuff on the other side. It's a sturdy road. I
The
know,
equipment
yeah.
that they drive over it
Yeah.
now, from my experience, the front end, they have an articulating front end loader. They have forklifts. That forklift weighs more than any truck that's gonna go through there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any more questions from the board? Any more, anything else that you see? Okay, well, at this point, I guess, what we need to do is have a new version of the plan created, and, we'll bring it back to a continuation. What's good, somebody give me a motion to
Can I
continue?
make a suggestion, Mr. Chairman, before we do that?
As many suggestions as you want.
The sooner we get the plan, the fixed plan, we can get it to Mr. Graham, our reviewing engineer. And then maybe we can do it all at one time, get his reply, then you two guys talk, if anything has to be changed, get that out of the way, then come back with everybody's in agreement, and then we can vote on it, so you don't have to keep coming back and coming back.
So we just have to change the parking spots and a couple of signs, is that correct?
I've got 5 items.
Okay,
I will give you the 5 items, have your
Yeah.
engineer change them,
Take the engineering
get that
out.
plan to Larry,
mm-hmm,
or get it to Howard, Howard will get it to Larry, because that's
yeah,
the chain of command. Larry will do his thing, he'll get it back to Howard, and he usually copies you with it.
Larry will just verify that
Yep.
all the things we spoke about tonight are shown on the plan adequately, and, you
And
know,
if anything else
and,
falls,
yeah, if he finds
falls off
anything
the
else,
page in the
yeah,
meantime.
yeah, you can fix it all up.
so then he can't open until we come here again, is that true? Is that way?
From the way I'm looking at it,
Yeah, he
this
can't.
board may feel differently, but he can't open until those islands are in.
How are we gonna do
plan.
that till the snow comes? And why is that his fault? That was Honeydew's.
It's not your fault.
But what are we gonna do? We just met. We haven't had time to do that. We've done 90% of what you've asked.
And all we ask is 100. All I ask is 100. We have a
Mr.
gentleman on
Mr. Chairman.
Main Street that promised to do something, and sadly, Donna, I look at you and I take you at your word, but unfortunately, that gentleman made sure that I will never, ever release before the entire plan is done correctly.
Okay,
Not
but
anymore.
that's not his fault, so this
No,
is
it's not
holding
his fault,
him
it's
up.
not your fault, it's the gentleman on one
Right.
sixty-one, Main Street, which we discussed tonight, that we're sending to the building inspector. Because he gave us his word that he was going to do something, and we gave him a year to do it.
Okay, but our
And then
word
he
is
did
good,
not.
we just haven't had the time to
No
do
one's
it.
word is any good anymore.
But it's not that, our word is good, it's just we
To me,
haven't had
this
the
is just to me.
time.
The board may feel different.
Mr. Chairman, if I
I'm
may,
a stickler now for that.
maybe-
Burn me once, it's my.
I know,
call.
but it's a time thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's not a matter of us saying we're gonna do it and we don't do it, it's just a time thing, because of the weather.
Can you give us a time when you're gonna do it?
As soon as the snow's out of the parking lot, I'll do it. But it's
April?
winter.
You think?
Yes, it's
Okay,
winter.
Give us a date.
April 1st.
April 1st, as soon as the
That sounds good.
snow is out of the parking lot, we'll do it.
Mr. Rich,
I know, and I led the charge with the previous issue. The owners of Georgetown Building Supply, I believe in my mind, and I'm speaking for me and me alone, their reputation precedes them when it comes to, we will do X, Y, and Z. And if the owners of the building supply say, we're going to put them in, I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. I will afford them, because of their history, that other guy, if he came back, and anyone knew that has no history with the board, I would not be, I would be more, leaning more towards you, your opinion, than not, but I would ask my colleagues for consensus. If push came to shove on that, would we grant them, would we be in favor of granting them time to put that in?
I would speak in favor of what you say, Chris, and primarily it's on the basis of the impact of the work that they've done so far.
Oh, I
It's-
agree. They've
it's
done everything they
major
said they were going to do.
change, and I think they did an outstanding job. And I recognize what you said.
Mhm.
You said exactly the same, you said that, almost the exact words, when the gentleman was in, that you're never gonna
It's never
go
gonna
for it
happen.
again.
I love you, Donna, don't get me wrong.
No,
It's
no,
not
I,
you.
I
It
understand.
could be anybody.
But
Mother Teresa was sitting there, I'd tell her the same thing. I'm burned, that's it.
I would agree with you, Chris, and I would say April 1st, God bless you. I really hope that nothing goes wrong.
April
Because
1st, but in any event, no later than when the snow's clear.
when the
so
snow's
when was the
cleared,
last
yeah.
time we were here with Honeydew? Does anybody know that? That was in,
In
That-
the summer.
Oh, we should.
no, it wasn't in the summer,
More
'cause I,
recent than that.
yeah, it was in the fall, it was,
Yeah,
it
we
was
just
in the
did
fall.
something about the signs, didn't we, that we needed the.
Yeah, it was right before that, but I assure you that we will have that done by April 1st. As soon as the snow gets out, we will have that done.
And I understand that.
And I assure
know
you,
what,
and I
Donna?
know where you're coming from, but time-wise, this is, I think every case is different. And this, but we haven't had the time to do it, so we
And I
will,
understand that.
and we will do it.
And I hope you understand that I just
Mm-hmm.
can't, as a board member that has gone through this already and knows how
Right,
difficult it is to grant an occupancy permit
Mm-hmm.
on something that is promised in the future.
but we
And I'm
promised to,
fortunately,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
fortunately for you and for you, Mr. Ritchie, for the both of you, this board isn't as much of a stickler as I am.
Right,
And
yeah,
you have the votes to make it happen.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm gonna constantly remind the board that we
Mm-hmm.
were burned before. And
And I will
And I trust
reassure
that-
you that you
that
will
you
not
have
get
enough-
burned again, and we will fix it for you, I
Won't get burned
promise
by
you.
you.
won't get burned by you, you can
Right,
assure
I
me.
know, and I hear you, but I just hate to see that affect him.
And we don't want to affect,
Right,
I don't, I'm
right,
And,
that's
and
what
I
I'm
don't
there are
think
enough
we
votes
wanna
on this board that it
impact-
won't.
negatively a
I assure you,
business.
Yeah.
there are enough
in
votes,
town.
votes on this
Uh,
board that it won't affect it, but,
No, I hear you.
okay? There was a motion to continue. I believe you made that motion, Chris?
Yeah,
To
You
continue
have to be to the March
to-
meeting.
Yeah. 'cause,
So wait a minute, we have to do the
March.
islands by April 1st,
Excuse me.
right?
Started by April.
He's
Nothing's
mean,
been decided.
okay.
Nothing's been decided.
Okay.
Excuse me, Dawn. March 12th,
March 12th.
excuse me, March
Mm-hmm.
12th. That should be enough time. 2014, Chris made that motion. Is there a second to continue?
The second.
Kelly? All in favor of continuation to March 12th, 2014, say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Great. And,
Second motion, Mr. Chairman.
oh, you got, no, go for it.
Once we.
Technically, we can't, it's just been continued, and we can't take any, but go ahead. Just end it now, huh? But what do you wanna say?
I want to make sure that we have a motion to refer the plans when it comes in to the.
Oh, Howard, here it is. You heard that. We made that clear. We made that clear, right,
Yeah.
Howard? You understood that.
Okay.
Yeah, you knew that.
Just wanna make sure it keeps moving.
Yep, it is still moving. And so is the evening. Thank you very much.
So you're gonna just tell us what we need to do, and then we'll just, yeah.
I will
I'll-
have the
okay.
list for you.
Where did it end up?
Okay.
What did I
See
get?
you in the morning, Howard.
And as he said, right now, there is no order for you to put those.
Okay,
I mean,
Depending upon the snow, Christine.
There's an existing.
9 to 4
Yeah,
tomorrow,
yeah.
so.
You know what I feel, I feel.
sure, yep. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night.
Nice house, ice sculpture.
Next is, a minor modification to an approved site plan, 6 Norino Way. Modification to site plan. And this is 6 Norino Way. Want to read the public notice, or shall we waive it on the grounds that are having trouble fitting in the room? Well, by unanimous consent, we'll waive the reading. Hearing is open.
This material came before the board a few weeks ago. It was a request for the board to interpret the proposed amendments to a previously approved site plan if they considered to be minor enough in nature that they didn't necessitate application for revision before the board. The board decided that it was substantial enough that they needed to require a minor modification to the previously approved site plan, so that's why they're back.
Why don't you tell us what your difference are, for the record,
Okay.
state your names, please, for the record, and please tell us what the changes you're proposing are.
Sure. My name is Gregory Smith. I'm from GSD Associates Architects.
And I'm Brian Murray from Millennium Engineering.
What we've come to the board to ask is the previous approved site plan is to modify the locations in the building where we're gonna be doing some operations. And do you have a plan you can pull up,
Yeah, I'm
Howard?
trying to find it. You did provide one with me, I just haven't.
I thought there'd be
Just a site plan.
We have,
you have the bigger plans there?
yeah, we have some,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on-
We've got copies of everything you gave.
Okay.
oh, yeah, we
Right,
have
so-
some.
Okay,
Oh,
so I
no,
can
we don't have that.
explain. The original plan that we had pulled building permit on, existing, this is their existing truck maintenance area that's right in here. And we're going to be expanding that by building on approximately a 15-foot expansion
That
on the
was the
back.
plan.
And then building over here, the storage area, where they're gonna take the stuff that was out in the yard and store it in this area. And then this was, the whole office was also going to be completely gutted and renovated. So we started doing this, and during that process and finalizing some numbers in here, the numbers just to put this little addition on was so expensive, we kinda just had to say, look, let's rethink this whole thing. So, what we came up with was, essentially not building that addition on the back, because this is what was expensive, because it was an existing building, we had to shore it, and putting in 15 feet didn't make any sense. So, what we're proposing now is to not build that addition, but taking the square footage that was here and moving it off to the side, and then making this the truck maintenance facility. So now, this would become where they're gonna store the stuff that was out in the yard, and now this becomes something that you can get a little easier to finance too, because it's actually doing something, and it's gonna be a modern facility for doing truck maintenance rather than where he was before, so.
So essentially, you took a 1,200 square foot, roughly 1,200 square foot area,
Yep.
1280,
Put it over
and
here,
you flipped it 90 and
Yep.
reduced it by 80
about that, yep.
square feet.
So this, the previous one, this was the covered area. The square footage over here was, this was a loading dock area and had a covered area, and that would be the storage. So that's gonna move over here, and this will move over into that area.
Can I tell you, my recollection, and anybody who has a different recollection of this. When this was first brought to us by Howard, we saw an issue because what we were presented, on that evening showed what you were proposing to move that addition. It appeared on that drawing that it was being put much more closely to a septic system.
Yeah, so
Could you resolve the
Yeah, so
septic
the
system
plan-
issue? Oh,
yeah,
there it is, right
yeah,
there.
So this
And
was the plan, and
Basically, yeah.
that's where the existing one is,
Mhm.
not where the new one is. So the new one, part of the original site plan was to relocate that, and on the main plan, it actually shows the edge of the new proposed system is all the way back over here. So it's significantly further away.
Is that on the same lot?
Is that, I believe it's.
Yeah, it's on a different lot, but there's an easement for it, we're creating an easement for it.
The lot's under same ownership too,
Yeah,
right? All
yeah,
by,
It's all under same ownership.
right.
Oh, wait a minute. Is it the same ownership, exactly the same names?
No.
No,
And it's not the same ownership?
no,
There's an
it's
easement.
two different
You'll
quotes.
never
right?
get it by the Board of Health.
Two
They
different.
already approved it.
It's already been
under
approved.
construction.
With that being a given, maybe something happened with that.
Well, I'm surprised, because we don't allow that.
It sounds like an easement was allowed, right? Or something to that effect?
Yeah.
Unless it was presented that it was common ownership, a different lot but common ownership with an easement, it wouldn't have been allowed. We don't do that anymore.
Interesting. If I may, I have a quick question about the previous approval,
Yes.
and when was that? The previous site plan approval? The decision that was granted, that you're asking for a modification of?
7/17,
That was 7/17?
yeah. Was
Was,
approved by the clerk on June 13th.
okay. 7/17/2014.
Planning board approved it on May 22nd,
Okay. Was
Not 2014, 13.
13.
2013?
Yeah.
Was that several sheets that were recorded in the decision as well as the plans?
I'm not sure if all 7 sheets were recorded on that. I believe we just signed the cover sheet on that. I'd have to go back and check on that.
So only the
It was
cover
not-
sheet
I
was
think it was an
recorded?
8-sheet set on
It was an 8-sheet set.
Yeah,
Right. Was that recorded in its entirety with the?
No.
no, it's just a
No.
cover sheet.
Just the single
we-
cover sheet got recorded?
Plus the decision, correct?
Right,
Yes.
I'm looking through the decision right now, because I believe they.
Could you tell me if we granted a waiver for tree removal on the slope of the hill? I don't remember that, do you?
We I remember we had the trees that were in the 25-foot buffer up on top, and I know it was a discussion.
We were gonna put a fence up there?
There is a fence, yep, there was a proposed fence coming in there, and you asked us to put more plantings up in that area.
Further up on the, what would it be, the eastern side, there was gonna be,
Yep. And I think I
some
could show
planting?
that on the set.
But of the 8 previously approved sheets, Brian, the only change you're proposing with this minor modification is to which sheet?
It would probably fall on about 3 sheets.
3 sheets.
Because that building is shown on 3 sheets, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a cover sheet, and I believe there's a lighting plan on it, and I believe there's a site plan itself in there.
Okay.
I have the set here.
Brian, my concern, and maybe I can summarize what my only concern at this point from what I've seen, all I've seen is this sheet right here.
Yeah.
That was all that we received in our packet.
Right, and
My concern is that if we were to sign off on this, number one, I don't know what other sheets were recorded with the decision
Yeah.
in the plan book.
Yeah,
And my concern is that it was only the original of the first iteration of the cover sheet.
Right.
And again, I'm a stickler. I'm probably more of a hard such and such than the rest of the board.
Understood, yeah.
But my concern is that a good deal of all of the conditions that were most likely mentioned in the written decision
decision, yeah.
are really explained in the plans. And my concern is if we sign off on this, that this will become the replacement, and only this will be filed and recorded. So,
Is,
not to create more work for you,
No,
or-
so
and
you're
not to
looking for-
create
you
an
want
expense to
entire
the
set.
applicant.
We need to find out which sheets were recorded with the original decision. And it sounds like you'd be
They're
most
supposed-
comfortable if all those were provided again
Mhm.
for the
Okay.
minor
For a
modification,
re-
just because they probably just show the building.
did we receive
Well,
copies of the
where-
recorded plan? We're supposed to get copies of the recorded plan. Why are we why are we wondering what's recorded? We're supposed to get copies of it.
And we have, and Howard, you may remember all the problems we had recording.
With the ink, with
happened?
the
We
ink,
went through
right.
with this on
right.
this.
What happened?
The
The plans have been recorded, I'm sure, I just don't
Yeah,
recall
yeah.
exactly which
It was
ones.
because they had to have the sign off from the town clerk. There was, the registry of deeds at the time was requesting
Mhm.
a signature from the town clerk on it, and you remember we had that person come in 3 times, they had to go back down to the registry of deeds.
Right.
With that, on that, and that's what they were recording, they were recording the decision and the plans at that time.
Right.
If I look,
Why was it so difficult to get the,
it was,
The signature
mostly
from
a problem on the registry.
the clerk?
bench. The
It
registry-
wasn't with the clerk, it was at the registry. They were running to an odd thing that I haven't had before or since, so.
Right.
they have a new requirement?
Well, that's what it was to us at the time, because
Okay.
we never had to go through that before.
What is it? I'm very interested.
It had to, and I don't know the full scope of it, but it had to do with having the town clerk sign off on the decision before it went for them to record it.
They were
Was it
not,
the appeals? Because the
No.
town clerk is supposed to sign off no appeals within
Right,
20 days.
no, this was, it was after the appeals on it, so the signature
days
was
had
there
gone
for the
by.
town clerk on it,
Town clerk certified.
yeah. And then, and I can't remember, but exactly what it was, this is going back in August of last year,
Sure,
but, I do know you remember that process. that
right,
we-
we're both frustrated. I even
It-
called the registry over it.
Yes,
so.
exactly, right, on it, so, but, and I don't,
I
and I
only
think the
ask
registry
because
was wrong.
Out of more than,
Oh, no,
more
you're
more
right.
than just interest, I'm concerned that this board is doing everything that it needs to do to make sure that I mean, we've got, you saw tonight, we had
Yeah.
3 of the site plan approvals.
Yeah, well, I don't
If
think
we're
you've
gonna hit a
had,
snag on these
I think
things,
you would have,
and we need
We
to
haven't hit a snag
modify.
since.
Really?
Yeah.
so I
Okay.
think there was a problem with
Okay.
some of the personnel down there, and then it was resolved.
Well, they gotta learn
Depends
too,
on the
right?
clerk you get.
It
they
could have
gotta
been,
learn to.
yeah, it could have been. And again, we were sending down a young person, just going down to record it and didn't understand the full process of it.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Go for it, please.
Is it, I can't see where it's delineated on this plan. You're specifically asking for 2 waivers. And where does it show the waiver area on the plan? Does it show? It's just a bland statement of removal of trees and setback.
I think it's shaded on, it doesn't show on that sheet, it shows that here for the waivers on it. Show it over here.
But that's not part of this.
That was granted before
No.
with the original.
Yeah, that's not part of this.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you need to do is on this, put existing waivers.
Okay.
They are existing waivers.
No, I
Not looking for any more waivers.
no,
What's that? What's listed here, you mean?
yeah,
Cover sheet.
yeah.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, you can take the word waiver and everything right off this plan. Because let me finish. Because what I'm prepared, if and when this gets to the motion stage, is to approve it, subject to all of the other conditions of the previous
Approval.
approval.
Yeah, which is what we would,
Right.
which is what we're looking for. We're not looking to change
And
anything.
that would
other than-
incorporate all of the waivers that you have, all the other orders that were given.
Yeah, okay.
May I make a suggestion? Where we're looking at the title sheet down here, and it says site plan, would it be easier to just say,
Minor modification.
modification to site plan?
Yeah, it's great.
Maybe that would make things very, very clear, and naturally they can do whatever sheets are recorded, they can do.
So all you have to do is
My
put
little-
modification of site plan and the date box on the one that was approved.
Okay.
All right,
I don't remember the waivers, what were they?
Oh,
there was some of the setback.
yeah, we allowed them to,
Yeah, we were
Because
cutting
we're
some
looking for a
trees.
buffer.
within it.
we wanted a green wall, and we allowed them to cut some trees down.
And this will be a lot easier when you make the changes to those other sheets that you referenced, and this board actually has all of the sheets in front of it. I think that'll make this a lot easier.
Do we have an M account on this?
Nice catch, pal. Nice catch.
They're, when you say modifying other sheets,
Did I misunderstand?
They're-
You said you're gonna need to change about 3 sheets?
Well, we
No,
said
they
the
need to-
building was on, it's on 3 or 4
Right,
other
you're gonna need
sheets.
to show that on all 3 sheets.
right, but they're not changing the sheets. Right, it's just the building, but
Just the footprint would change.
Right, of the
I
building.
consider that a change in the sheet.
So the sheets have to be amended.
Well, right.
Right.
You gotta
Each-
redraw
Each sheet has to be amended with the footprint.
right.
That's all it has to do is show the changed footprint.
So could I ask a question? I mean, could we get a, I mean, the issue we have right now is just, they're out of the building, they're renovating it, and we're trying to continue to move forward. Could we get get it as an order of conditions that we make the changes to the
We
plans?
don't do orders conditions, that's Concom.
Well, I'm just saying.
Conditional approval.
Conditional approval, I guess. I'm sorry about the terminology, but
I'll
just
give you a
trying to
straw
keep.
vote of the board, or a straw vote of the, does anyone have any objections to what's being proposed here?
No, but we should, Larry was on this, wasn't he, weren't you, Larry?
I do have a question, actually.
Go for it.
It has to
Let's hear it now. I mean,
Right.
these folks are gonna, it sounds to me like these folks are gonna be proceeding at their own peril, is what it sounds like to me. And I'd like to reassure them that it may not be as perilous as they think.
Good, we don't want peril.
Yeah, okay. I
Extending the.
kinda get it, you know,
Extending the building back 15 feet
towards that slope.
towards that slope, and I'm just wondering about the contours and if that's gonna have any impact on what those contours need to be. Is
On
there-
how the slope will have to be
No,
adjusted.
there won't
Those,
be-
those are cut already, and I think there's adequate space to,
Yeah, there's
Can
no
do
change,
that.
there's no change to any of the site work out there, to the parking area, there's no change at all, to the contours. What, I think what you're seeing there is some of the
The
existing
existing-
contours.
Yeah, yes, no, I
Yeah.
understand that, I would assume it's there,
see-
but I
you need
don't,
to
I
see the
just don't
grading
see it,
sheet.
yeah.
To accommodate the square foot or the footprint change of the building, you don't need to change any of the previously approved site.
I see.
No.
Grading doesn't need to change.
Nothing changes, no
Materials aren't
drainage,
gonna change.
nothing else changes.
Previously, they didn't bring a truck.
So you're not gonna have the hangers open in the back, you're gonna use the front for your hangers, for your doors.
There'll be doors in the front and the back, just the way it would have been on the other plan.
Barrier in there.
Well,
But we're
that was
closing in the
issue,
ones.
wasn't it? Now I'm remembering. The issue was that trucks would go around in the previous plan, and there wasn't that much space for too much traffic going around that building.
Well, there was actually a loading dock before in the back.
That's right.
And now there won't be a loading
But that was
dock.
at 90 degrees.
Right.
Right, and
Going
that
out
won't be
towards
there anymore. No.
Right.
So that's gone.
My understanding.
So that location is, this was that location.
Right,
So we're gonna come out
trucks are
15
gonna be
feet.
coming in this
Correct.
way.
It'll
Now
be
they're gonna
over
be
here.
coming in. And
No,
coming
no,
in this
no,
way.
no, no, I'm sorry, there's doors, there's 3 doors here, and there's 3 doors there. It's a drive-through bay.
Okay,
Oh, it goes
All those
right
bays,
through?
I'm sorry.
I
There's no
see.
loading dock there per se.
They won't
now.
all be, in fact, very,
It looked to me
You
like
know.
this was a partition
oh,
of some sort.
yeah, I'm sorry, no, those are, that's not what those are. This is a partition, there's a separate area where he does welding, so we're gonna separate that off for ventilation.
Okay, but then trucks could come all the
Yeah,
way through.
drive right through.
All right, and then they would back out?
No,
No door back?
Well, they could back up too. There might be 2 trucks in there, but that's what it was designed to, so they could fit two vehicles in the front and
Right,
back. But the idea is,
And then the vehicle come out this way?
No, I think they go out this way.
Go out this way, okay,
Right.
all right, all right.
Yeah.
It's
I
not like
think-
you've got 18-wheelers driving through there.
It's not
No, I
everybody,
understand. No,
um,
I understand. It's not-
It's, they can still make it around there, but all the traffic, I think is mainly, any traffic that gets back in here, it would be going into the doors. for the most
This,
part.
this layout actually improves the facilitate,
Functionality.
right, the
And you're not gonna have
functionality.
to take out any more of the slope than you were in the original.
No.
plan.
No, no.
How does the
Can I-
venting
can
and the
I-
welding, in the middle there, the green area is the welding? How does that vent?
Well, that's the old plan, but yes.
Is it the old
That's
one?
the old plan, but the area where they're doing the welding is there's separate, it's a newer, we're designing it now to meet code, so there's some pull-down hoods that'll come down, so when he's welding an area, he'll come down and it'll attach like there's a magnet on it, and it'll take the vapors right off away, you know, at that area and vent them. That's the
Up to the
intent.
roof, is that it?
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
roof exhaust.
Is there a consensus for an M account on this? M account? Gabe?
Is
M
there,
account?
was there an existing M account
Um,
on the
It
original?
was,
Then
but
the
this is a new
approval.
application. You
yeah,
can't
it's
use
a
the
brand
old
new app, so it has to start over.
Crazy.
Do you know what the
Week
balance
more
is?
work.
Oh, that's all right, because now that we have
Did you
this
already
new one
refund the money
open,
from the
now
old
we
one?
can turn around and release the old
I
one.
don't-
Yeah, so that's how it works. Yeah, that's just the way it works. Does that go with everybody? M
Yep.
account?
Cool with me.
Larry, what would you recommend, 2,000?
I don't think that's necessary. I mean, I see this mostly as an internal change. The only issue is pushing that back 15 feet, and what this dimension is, scales about 20 feet. I mean, the previous plan approved it to this line over here, 15 feet short.
Oh, this is why we want you.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a quick look, see.
Yeah, you just, no one expects you to make a judgment call at this point, and the only thing I'm asking is
So you think it
1,000
might
or
need to
2,000, they
retain-
get it back at the end. Everybody good with the $1,000? Howard, by unanimous consent, M account will be established at $1,000 level. That good with you, Howard?
Yeah.
That work for you? Good.
Sorry, I was just sitting here, well, how much?
M account, $1,000.
1,000, yeah. We usually do 4, but it doesn't sound like you're gonna
So
use
you're
that.
gonna get out there and look at it?
I'm just gonna look at it on the plan.
On the plan, you're not going out
Late
there?
Already reviewed,
Look,
we've already reviewed
It's
the
gonna
whole
be
plan.
2 degrees tomorrow and
Mod-
snowing. If you
modification
think you're
plan
gonna get him
alone.
out of there for less than
What happened to that New
There's nothing
Englander?
there
Minor
now.
modification. I think probably have to-
Is there anything else that
Yeah,
you
I
can
just-
think of, Howard?
With the addition, it's actually 80 square feet smaller.
Yeah.
So you're not adding any additional water flow for sanitary systems, there isn't any stormwater increase, nothing like that.
Nope.
So,
1,280
No
square,
increase.
1,280 square feet to 1,200 is my recollection, right? that what I
Is
read?
that correct,
That's,
Greg?
that's
Yeah.
what we have, yeah.
Yeah.
Howard, I just wanna make sure we get the word exactly right on the plans on this. When will you be available to go over what you want to see on the plans?
tomorrow, and
Okay.
depending upon the weather, and
Yeah.
then Monday, so.
And then Mon- okay, all right.
weather?
Oh, that's right, Friday you're out.
Yeah, Friday's town hall is closed, so.
That's right.
And just to clarify, the language that you're talking about in the title block just says
Minor modification.
modification to.
We met once on what we should
So-
submit, and it's not good enough.
I
So should-
didn't see that, so.
Yeah.
So let me clarify it too, so the other sheets that have the plan of the building on it should just say minor modification, and keep those as a separate submission that'll be overlaid on the original submission.
We'll
So
we'll need
correct?
something to show, well, number one, we have to make sure, first we need to verify that all of the plans, the 8 sheets, or whatever sheets were recorded,
Right.
that we're
Gonna
not
record
losing
again.
any of those, but we're replacing them with these.
And when
Oh,
it's
replace it.
recorded,
Well, once it's recorded, it's recorded,
Right.
right? There's just
yeah,
gonna
but
be a new
when
set
it's,
sitting on top of
when
it.
it's recorded, and you write this down, it needs to be cross-referenced to the first recorded plan.
Well, that.
What they call
can do it.
marginal, called a marginal
notation.
reference.
But the registry does that, but what they can do is.
They have
put
to
the-
instruct the registry to do that.
But they can put the previous approval
Yep.
right on this sheet.
Absolutely.
That's what
What
they
an
should do.
excellent idea, excellent idea, you earned your money tonight. Great idea.
And one
Just
of
paying
the-
$1,000.
Well, no, you're not gonna get the whole car, don't worry, we're not that bad.
Let's go to 2 now. But one other suggestion, I might have it, I would just title these plans modification. Site
Modification?
plan modification, leave out the minor,
Yeah,
because I'm not sure there is such a thing.
yeah, there isn't.
It's a minor or
Yeah,
major,
it's-
but
it's-
there
it's a
really
mod-
isn't.
yeah. We keep calling it minor, but if it was minor, there wouldn't be.
And essentially, and it stands as a new set of plans.
Okay.
Which is my concern, that all the plans that were in the past are,
Conformed.
Right, so, but we should take off the references to variances and stuff off of that plan. Right,
Yeah, it's just, it's, right, yeah,
okay.
other than the previous approval. Okay.
Sounds good.
and the new decision will reference, use all the correct wording, that all the old conditions still stand.
That's what we get the big bucks for.
Motion from one of the board members, unless you guys have any more questions? Anything else?
Well, I
Cliff?
guess my concern is just trying to keep this project moving. I've got a whole company that's moved out of, 50% of the building and need to get moved back in as quick as we can. So I'm just trying to, if there's a way to, I know you said you didn't do an order of conditions, but
Conditional approval.
conditional approval.
Yeah, we
And
don't,
then submit this information with that. I know you had said that there's just the scheduling of the public hearings is gonna be a problem.
Well, the next planning board meeting is all about the bylaws. We need to get that prepared for annual
March
town
12th is the
meeting.
next available meeting.
Well, March 12th, because we've continued to do that, but they're all minor in nature, so.
Didn't I just said March 12th is the next available meeting?
Right.
But as the chairman said, and I will quote him, "You act at your peril," but he wanted you to know it wasn't that perilous.
if there are no
That
more
makes me
questions.
feel comfortable. I guess the problem
Well,
would
you're,
be.
you're not gonna get a warm and fuzzy,
Okay,
okay?
understand, but.
That's about as warm and fuzzy as you can really get when you're acting
Well, all
in your
your
own
interior
peril.
work that has nothing to do with this.
Well, it's a phasing, a sequence of things that have to happen, so, but,
Well, I'm a construction super. You just change your phase. Adjust your timeline.
Did you already do the septic area?
It's under construction right now, believe it or not. The weather, they're held up by the last two storms on it, but, yeah.
Well, maybe you'll get lucky and we'll really get buried tomorrow. Motion to continue to,
I'll get back.
March 12th, 2014, say, motion?
So moved.
Motion, so moved by Tilly. Is there a second for that? Second by Chris. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Gentlemen, come in with all
Thank you.
everything that you
Thank
heard
you.
tonight, you have plenty of time to do it. And, if you're smart, you'll do that in the next. Get it to Howard, so Howard can get it around.
I plan on sitting with Howard on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday.
Everything's set,
I will call Lenny.
Lenny will have to.
Yeah.
yeah, and bring him a coffee too. Or Todd. We don't let him up on his desk, so.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We handle turning leaf, we handle 105, we just took care of that. Any other concerns of a planning board member or the member of the public? And I would like to say that on my own personal timeline, we're 12 minutes ahead of schedule.
Rock and roll.
That's how it's done.
That's good.
That's how we roll. Any other concern of the planning board member or a member of the public? I'll assume that no one in the public has anything to say.
What's the citizens petition on 5
Here's a copy of the citizens petition was provided in your packet. In brief, it's regarding 5 Elm Street. And 5 Elm Street is the Greek Revival that's on the corner.
Yeah.
Currently, the Greek Revival structure is located in the commercial B
Where is it?
portion of land. It's in the back under planning office.
The very last couple pages. There you go. Marvelous photograph, too.
And so, there is a resident of Georgetown who's purchasing the property and wishes to have the ability to move in and live in the building, but he is unable to do that because a portion of the property, the building contained completely within that portion is zoned to CB. So the citizen's petition is to remove the zone designation of CB from approximately 80% of the property and make it all residential A. Residential A is, all of Elm Street and across, the way.
So they wanna downzone it.
I don't know, what would you consider downzoning, because if,
Well, from commercial to residential is a downzone.
and what do you mean by downzone?
You're going,
There's residential A is more restrictive.
that's what I mean, it's more restrictive. And
I guess it's,
as you open it up, it's zoning up.
right,
As you release the restrictions. Residential's more restricted than commercial, so it's downzoning it
okay,
and making it more restrictive.
correct. I guess we could argue, do you turn the thermostat up or down? Right?
You want the heat to get
Depends if
hotter?
you're in Australia
Right.
or not.
Are they gonna tear down the
It's
house?
the Coriolis
No,
effect.
no, his plan is to purchase it and renovate it and, live in it.
Yeah, it goes the wrong way down there, doesn't it?
It's a very unusual request. Usually, we get it the other way.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
People wanna
uniquely
turn
enough,
residential in
Yeah.
commercial. In
Right.
this place, they wanna go back to residential. Let's say that the entire town was residential at one time.
Right.
Then zoning came in.
Yeah.
And now we said, this is commercial,
The
this
70s,
is
yep.
residential. And now they wanna turn what was said to be commercial,
Right.
they wanna go back to residential, so you can't run a business on it.
Yeah.
It's down zoning.
That's, well,
Down
yeah, you
zoning
can
rarely
follow that.
gets defeated.
I've encouraged the proponent of the citizens petition to, come in and have a public hearing with the planning board, cause it's a zoning change. So you'll be hearing more from him, and I'm sure petitioners for or against the
well,
change.
we're required to hold a public hearing to present, our recommendations to the Board of Selectmen.
Right, because
and
it's
town
gonna
meeting,
be
right?
on the warrant, right.
It's gonna be on the warrant. Mhm.
Have you scheduled that?
When is that,
yet?
Howard? Did we schedule that, or,
Schedule
Hearing.
the public hearing?
for this? No, not yet, cause he hasn't given a formal request for it yet, so.
Oh, well, if he doesn't do that.
It's on the
he'll make a
warrant.
recommendation.
You have, I don't think
Then-
you're gonna get one. I think you have to do it. If a citizen petition comes in, the selectmen are the ones that get it first.
The selectmen refer this to us?
The selectmen heard this, and they did not formally make a motion or a vote to refer to the planning board.
They have to by law. So it's just probably just a clerical thing that they missed it.
Well,
They have to.
right.
Citizens
Well,
petition.
they're
Let's fix it all, let's
supposed
get a
to.
public hearing before the,
I think to schedule it so
Before
that
town
we
meeting.
don't mess up ours. We're
So-
getting kind of backlogged here.
Shouldn't we
Right,
wait for the
right.
selectmen to do it properly?
No, because I wouldn't wanna see them,
If it was just a clerical error. I mean,
I would not wanna see this go before town meeting and someone who's the proponent of this get blindsided saying, the planning board has no recommendation because they did not
We're
have,
never asked to
did not
make one.
have the required public hearing.
Well, they
So
were never
let's-
asked to hold the public
So
hearing.
let's be proactive, knowing that it's gonna be on the warrant. We know that they have to have a public hearing for a recommendation. And maybe we can ask the planner to remind the selectmen that we need a vote formally referring it to.
Isn't that kind of stepping on the town administrator's toes? I mean, that's the
So-
town administrator's job to inform the selectmen of the
You're
legal
late,
things.
step on him, he won't object.
I would never do that. Much too much respect for him.
I just
I'm
think we
not-
should go ahead and get a
I
schedule.
don't think it's a matter of stepping on his toes. I think it's a matter of reminding someone that might have missed something.
Or omitted it intentionally, because legally they cannot vote on this at town meeting.
I think we should inquire and, just find out.
How about
perhaps.
Probably not a bad idea.
Let's have the town, let's have the town planner contact the town administrator and say, was this an oops?
Mhm.
And if it was,
Well, respectfully remind them that a hearing needs to be held so that the board can make a recommendation to town meeting.
Right, I believe the selectmen are aware of that. I don't
sure
think
it's on
that
their
they're
agenda
aware
for
of
the
it,
next-
that they
at the
needed
next
to do a formal vote and motion for it, but I'll check.
Oh,
So,
So they didn't send you anything, you just got it from the applicant?
right. So, but on the
Maybe-
26th, we can't notice the petition for this, but there's plenty of other things the board needs to consider on the 26th, so.
So Chris, you make a motion to have Howard contact the town administrator about
Having the selectmen formally refer the citizen
Having-
petition to
the BOS formally refer this.
the planning board to hold a public hearing.
Hold a public hearing.
so
A notice public hearing.
We can schedule a public hearing.
That was a motion made by Chris. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Tilly. All, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 4-0. Any other concerns of a board member or a member of the public?
No.
Hearing none. Zoning amendments for annual town meeting.
You'll have a nice thick packet for the next meeting. I'm still putting together all the zoning amendments.
And that'll be the 26th of the month.
26th.
I'm sure it'll be an exciting and scintillating night for the board.
I'll be sick.
Brother.
I feel it coming on now. Move to adjourn, Mr. Chair.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Rich. Is there a second?
Segundo.
Second by Bob. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Bob, was that an aye? Tilly, you abstaining?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Good night, everybody. Be careful in the snow. Stay off the roads. Let the plows do their work. Meeting is adjourned at, what is that, 8:55? 8:56. I stand corrected. You got something to say? Good night, everybody.